Oh, I'm fine.
Hello! Welcome to our weekly chat. We are excited about this week. We have a great chapter to go over just really quickly. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. And then we have some fun things that we wanted to share with you today. Today we're talking all about mindset and how that is one of the biggest key indicators to your success, your failure, your experience along the way as well. So Anyway, I said, did you want to start with something or?
Sure. So first things first, we're 1 week into this program, and I know there are probably someone here that feels like saying, man, I am doing terrible at this program, or this is more than I reckoned, or this is more than I feel comfortable stretching myself. And we wanted to just kind of share the reminder, and this is the reason why we're talking about our mindset today, is that you are only 1 week in, right? And so don't give up now. It is not too far gone. And there's definitely much more to come. And we recognize that it's a stretch, right? Doing 250 in a week and recruiting one person a week. It's definitely a stretch. This is intended to be a boot camp, and we would be not providing you the experience that you want if we didn't create something that stresses, or not stress, but stretches.
A challenge, stretches,
And stress, I guess, is maybe a natural part of that. But so what we're saying there is, and what we're going to talk about a little bit today is, stay with us, keep going. If you came into this group because you wanted to grow your business, to make money or achieve any other goal that you're looking for, then don't give up. You're only 10% in, 1 week in. Stay with us, put in the hustle, keep going. And if that's what you were looking for out of this group, was to grow your business, then we have to help provide these kinds of goals and trainings to help you get there.
It's really important to cheer each other on and to celebrate others' successes and to shout out what's being done that's great, but also in that process, not to compare yourself with others, because they say comparison is the thief of joy. And if you start comparing your results to somebody else's results, sometimes I use it to help motivate me and to get me excited about somebody else's paycheck or somebody else's team size or somebody else's incentive level earner, whatever it is, because to me that motivates me. It helps keep me going to stretch for more instead of just being kind of in my same wheelhouse of doing what I've always done. But like I said, it's also a fine line between comparing yourself and allowing that to kind of put you down a dark place. So be excited for each other, be genuinely cheering each other on. But it's okay if you're not doing that great, or it's okay if you had a bad week. Dust yourself off, start all over, and pick it up again this week. And we can have a great week this time.
So I think you had some things that just really great things in this chapter that we read this week.
Yeah, it's crazy how much you can get out of just a few pages. I mean, she writes very short. She talks about how basically this is the system that she's going to introduce us to, how she's created her big business. I like how she said network marketing allows you to choose a dream life over a dream job. And one thing that we wanted to remind you here is that think of it as you're building a business. You are investing in creating a business. You are not working a job where you get an hourly wage and you know exactly what you need to do for exactly how much you need to get paid. You are creating a business, just like anybody who started the first whatever business that you can think of, the first Walmart or whatever, or the first restaurant or the first clothing store. They had an investment of time and resources, and they had to do a lot to set up their business. That's what you are doing right now, is you are building and investing of time, sometimes money, sometimes training, effort, sleep. All of your investment is right now to build your business. You're laying the foundation. And our company, our opportunity is back-end loaded. She talks about how it's kind of like building a snowball and you're pushing it up the hill, and then once it hits that peak, and then you can start, it gets bigger and it goes faster and it makes more money. some companies are what they call front loaded. So you make more at the beginning. You make 50% commission and you make a whole bunch off of bringing people into the opportunity before they even do anything. That type of a front loaded, it rewards you handsomely at the front. Whereas with Scentsy, you only make 20 to 25%, maybe 30 if you sell 2,000 in your first month. And you slowly kind of ramp up until you start building a business and a team, and you start creating and climbing the ranks. That's why we say the big money is at the top of the compensation plan. The big money is at director, star director, and especially superstar director, because it's back end loaded to reward you for your time, your leadership, and your influence. So anyway, that's just something to remember, that we're building a business and it's a stable business, but it's in it for the long haul. It doesn't have to take a long time, but it's a commitment. It's not just a, start and then ride the wave and then jump to something else kind of a business. Anyway, so I really like how you're building the opportunity to be able to live whatever kind of life you want. And so that, anyway, you can create it. So you're not going for your dream job here, you're going for your dream life. Because sometimes the things we have to do in this job aren't fun. They are hard and they take work and they take, sacrifice. But that's the thing that they say in our industry. You work like most people won't, so you can live like most people can't. So if you're feeling like, oh man, this is taking a lot of time, remember, you're building your business. You're literally creating a business that will be sustainable and keep growing. So anyway, so then the other part, like I said, you all read it, so I'm not going to belabor the points here, but the other part that I really, really liked, she says, if there's one thing that I know for sure about success, okay, what is it? Is that it begins with a decision to be successful, a commitment to seeing it through, and you just can't quit. She said, we made a decision to do whatever it takes. She said early on when we started our business with no training, no websites, no mentoring, we made a decision to do whatever it takes. In my opinion, that is the greatest factor that leads to success, your decision. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So make a decision, be relentless and committed to do whatever it takes. I like the part because over my 12 years of being a Scentsy consultant, I've heard often people say, well, I would have been successful if I had that girl for my sponsor, or if I had that team, or if I had that person join my team, then she would have skyrocketed me to success. Or if I had better training, or if there are a lot of, or if I kind of experiences where you can feel like if something were different, hey Lori, then it would be easier for me. It's easier for her or him because of this. So I just like how she said, it's your business. It's your opportunity. You are creating the life you want through your experiences and through your efforts. And so, yeah, it's gonna be hard. It's going to be even personally stretching a little bit, because that is all about mindset. She didn't even talk about how to keep being the top salesperson. She didn't talk about how to lead with your pitch for recruiting. She didn't talk about systems that keep whatever. She talked about your decision to stick with it, your decision to making your life what you really can be, what you want it to be, what you feel that inner yearning to make it work. You really can do it. And it starts with a decision to do it, and that you can, believing that you can. And then, like she said, just that commitment to being relentless to following through and making it happen. So
yeah, and that reminds me of an example or an analogy that we talked about before the call, which is, anytime you're on a diet, or if you're on a, get big and bulk plan, but anytime you're on that, you start going, and you have to be relentless. That word that Becky mentioned, right? You have to stay committed to it and keep doing it. And a lot of times what you might see is somebody start for a week or two and say, oh my gosh, I can't do this. It's too much time. It's too this, that, or whatever. And then they stop doing it. And of course, what they're not going to see is the results that they wanted. The desire is still there. The results aren't. It's because they just gave up. But yet, there's people out there that did the same program and did see the results. And so this training, this LDU, will get you the results that you're looking for. It's just a matter of staying with it and staying committed. So the other thing, the next thing we wanted to talk about was a blog post that we wrote a few years back that addresses mindset, because Becky's been doing this since 2008. Yeah, so 12 years. And in those 12 years, we've recruited hundreds of people, if not more. And we've seen a lot of people join the business. It's been fun to watch a lot of them grow their business and do really well. We've seen people bring home a spouse from their job. We've seen them make more money than they thought they could make. We've seen them earn trips. We've also seen people leave before they could have really found a lifestyle, like Becky said, with Scentsy. And at one point a few years ago, that kind of got to us, and we wrote down 5 things that we wish we could tell every new consultant. And one, I'll give you a hint. One of the, it looks like Becky's about to post it now.
I just posted it in the team page, so in the LDU page. So if you'd like to follow along, you can pull up that blog link. It's called 5 Obstacles Every Consultant Must Conquer. And I put it in the week 3, right? Is this the week 3? Yeah, unit 3, week 2. So the unit 3 page. So you can pull it up and read along with us, because we're going to go over the 5 obstacles that every consultant has to conquer, and kind of our take on what we've seen and how we've seen people conquer it and what we've seen when they don't. So
okay, trying to find it. Okay, here it is.
Okay.
So one of the first things we've noticed is that truly, well, I'll just go into it. Number 1, the very first thing is having to do with self-image. You see, if you're following along, we wrote, "You are awesome," right? It says, any negative baggage that you've acquired in your life that makes you believe that you are not tremendously awesome is just wrong. Allow yourself to be the kind of consultant that, or to be your type of consultant. Oh, there you go. Thank you. And that you rock. And so I think, fear, a poor self-image. Yeah, fear is the second one. Yeah. So, but a poor self-image and a belief that past results predict future results, particularly the failures, really is what I think we're talking about here. Is that
even just a belief of, is this going to be me? Can I do it? I had that same exact obstacle as a lead consultant, and I went to my second SFR. And I was sitting at this table, sitting beside Dave, and it was the awards ceremony. And there were all kinds of just famous, super rich Scentsy consultants making all kinds of money, getting all kinds of awards. That year they gave away a couple cars, they gave away trips. It was just over the top, exciting. These people these friends of mine now had hit the pinnacle of their careers with Scentsy, and they were living the life. They had quit their jobs, they had money, they were earning these trips, all of these things. And here I was, a lead consultant, probably already a year and a half in. I don't know. It seemed like it took me forever to really get my business up and going. And I sat there at the table, and I had, number 1, I had the self-limiting belief of, yeah, I believe in this company. Because I think that's number 1. You have to believe in the company, that you're in the right place. And then 2, believe that you belong in it and that you can do it as well. And that it's not just that the company is a great opportunity, but that it's a great opportunity for you and you can do it. And I remember I turned to Dave, and what did I say to you?
You think that will ever be us?
Yeah. I said, do you think we'll ever be there? Do you think that will ever be us? And I think it's okay to question, because it was that question. I can take myself back to that table and sit in that seat and remember the fear and the wonder that I didn't have belief in myself. I didn't think that I could do it. I was just doing it as a hobby. I was just doing it we needed more. I wanted more. I wanted to get rid of that debt so bad. I dreamt about it, but I didn't really truly believe that I could do it. And I wasn't able to wrap my head around seeing myself as that opportunity. But yet that's what has to happen. You have to believe that you are worth it. You are worthy, and you are capable of making this be you. So just like that question, do you think that's going to be us? That question spurred that discovery of making sure that I could see myself in that seat, and that I could portray myself as powerful and making the money that we needed for our family and earning trips and having an influence that I wanted to help people and whatever it is that's in your future that you want, you have to be able to believe that you are capable of that and that it is, and that you're worthy of it and that you're worth it and that you can do it just like anybody else can. So just that you are awesome and that belief in yourself that you deserve it. You want it and you deserve it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Those mentality affirmations that you sometimes you need to just tell yourself until you believe it, you know.
Yeah.
I am good at this. I am, you know, going to be a rock star. I am, you know.
Well, and I think sometimes we tell ourselves a lie that we are the only ones that have experienced the level of failure that we have. Or if only other people knew that I did this, that, or whatever, I messed up here, or I failed at this. No, everyone has that type of a failure experience, or
everyone,
whatever it might
or
be,
or fear of failure, even if it's not a failure experience yet. Everybody is afraid to go live. Everybody's afraid of saying the wrong thing. Everybody's afraid of giving a joining pitch, or everybody's afraid of presenting or leading your team. It's a universal thing. So anyway, I think just finding that self-confidence that it's okay to have fears. It's okay to have doubts. It's okay to even have past failures, as long as you figure out ways to move on.
Yeah.
And that your future really is something different. You get to create it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so moving on to number 2, very much goes in line with number 1. One is you are inherently awesome, regardless of whatever your past looks like. Number 2 is about fear, not letting what like Becky just said, you know, your fear of your, whatever it might be, fear of failing, fear of coming out of your shell, or whatever it is, don't let that fear dictate your possibilities, because it can, right? There's a cool quote on there. It says, fear defeats more people than any one thing in the world. And, you know, Becky and I actually did some research a few years back and found that the number one thing that prevented our consultants from reaching their goals was fear. It wasn't ever that they didn't have enough training. There's more training out there than we could ever hope for, even 5 years ago. Right now you can get training for free on YouTube and podcasts and you name it. It's all for free.
Training doesn't make the difference, honestly.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
Yeah. We could train you all day long, but unless you do it and you get over that fear, we've done that before. We've trained people oodles and oodles and oodles. We overtrained some people,
and lots of times that leads to the perfectionism paralysis. You know, you want to do it right because you have all this training of how it should be done, and then you're like, I'm too afraid to even start because I'm afraid I'm going to fail. I'm afraid I'm not going to do this. So sometimes training actually leads to paralysis.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, I've got all this pressure now. I listened to a leadership call through Scentsy once that Jason Harwood was giving, and he was quoting a book, and I'm gonna have to ask him what that book is because I've quoted it many times. But he said there are 2 main reasons why people don't do what they think, and this is gonna go into number 3. Just really quickly, but it kind of combines. So 1 led into number 2. Number 2 is kind of gonna lead into number 3. But Jason Harwood said there are 2 reasons people don't act. They don't do what they commit to do, what they know they should do. 1, they don't know how to. They need a little bit of help, a little bit of training to get them started, to get them on the right way. They don't know what they're to. Or number 2, they have fear. They're afraid to do what they already know how to do. And he said, overwhelmingly, number 2 is far greater than number 1. And number 2 is a far greater incapacitor than number 1. Even if you don't know what you're doing, you're falling forward. You're doing it anyway, and you'll figure it out as you go. But if you're too afraid to even take that step, then you can't make any progress. So.
Awesome. So perfect transition to number 3, which is, like she said, do. The quote in there is, action breeds confidence and courage.
That's so true. That's such a good, I didn't know that was Dale Carnegie. That's a great quote.
And once you start doing either 1 or 2, well, maybe 3 things. 1, you'll get what you're going for. Number 2, you fail and you adapt and move on.
But you've learned.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or number 3, you quit because you failed. Right? And so obviously, that's why I think we like that, because you're busy doing. And if you go into it and say, hey, I'm just going to give my best shot. And if it doesn't, then I learn from it and I make it better next time, which increases your odds of success. So yeah, doing so many times. I remember we visited one consultant that we were really excited about, was here local, lots of potential. And we were just jazzed. We were over the moon. And a month went by, nothing happened.
She made all kinds of goals.
All kinds of goals.
We made plans for how she was going to get it. She was very organized, very driven, very dedicated to making this happen.
Yeah. And we said, launch party, month 2, nothing happened. And I think we went over there and we did anyways, we're kind of goofy, but we showed up and we just did a little bit of training.
Tried to pump her up, just to get her excited.
And month 3 came and went and she terminated.
She dropped off
and
with having 0 sales, literally never started. Now, she was a professional woman and she was highly successful in her career. She was actually a professional recruiter, not like recruiting for direct sales, but she recruits for companies. So we're like, oh, she's not afraid to talk to people. She knows how to help them analyze their strengths and join. And she had all these plans and we were like, oh man, she's going to be our dream consultant. And she joined and quit without ever even starting because she just didn't do.
Yeah. And fear could have been a part of that, whatever it was.
I think she was afraid of not being amazing, as well as afraid of being seen as the direct sales girl because she was a professional woman. And all of those things are valid, legit fears, but you have to face them and conquer them. So number 3, lots of times the do is influenced by the fear and by the lack of self-image. But I love how they always talk a lot about motivation, and they talk about how motivation doesn't just come and you don't wait to be motivated until you do something, because then you'll be waiting forever. But the motivation, really the secret is the motivation comes as you do stuff, and success builds on success, and little baby steps lead to that feeling of, oh, now I'm motivated to do more. So the motivation, it doesn't come first and then it leads to action. It's actually opposite. You do the things and then it leads to motivation, and then it feeds on itself, and then you do more, so then you're more motivated, and then it starts this hamster wheel. But you have to start that process. So if you wait to just be motivated or to have this feeling of I just can't wait to get started, lots of times you won't. Yeah. And then you'll be like our great potential friend who just really never got started. Yeah.
So there's lots more we could talk about there. We'd love to hear some of your thoughts on that. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But moving on to the next one. The 4th one is making goals. Some of those we've given you guys. But essentially what this is saying is what we've seen is somebody will show up, they will join as a consultant. They'll launch their business and they'll just kind of have I'm just going to go with whatever I get. Let me see what I get today, And all that's saying is, in case I fail, I want to be able to emotionally accept that. But if you make a goal, you'll find that it stretches you, and you'll typically, even if you do fail or not get your goal, you can accept it and you can move on. But making goals gives you a framework, right? I always like to use the example of the archer, where if you're shooting for a big goal, way over here, if you want to hit that target, you actually have to kind of aim up, and then it will come down and hit. But if you aim straight for it, then gravity is going to go into the ground before it ever gets there. And so, anyways, the point is just to make a goal. And I coach soccer, and you can't score a goal if there's no goals. You can't score if there's no goals.
Well, and it gives you something to celebrate when you get it as well, And I think everyone's so afraid of not meeting their goal that they fail before they start, just like that fear quote was. But also, if you make that goal, you know what you're aiming for. And you know that if you've got a weekly goal and it's coming towards the end of the week and you haven't gotten it, you know exactly where you need to end up by that end of the week, instead of just kind of, oh, well, I'll put it off till next week. And it holds you accountable, as well as, like I said, gives you something to celebrate when you reach your goal. Yeah. Because then you have arrived. Because in this business and in life, there's always more to do. There's always more to accomplish. There's always more to achieve. There's always more to sell, blah, blah, blah. There's always more. But if you create a goal for yourself, especially one that stretches you and is hard, then you can celebrate the closing of that goal without ever having maybe reached your big goal or whatever. Sorry, my computer keeps turning off.
Well, and the next one is be persistent, right?
This one's my favorite.
So, and that kind of rounds out that's all 5 of them. And it also goes in line with, the one before it, setting goals, right? It says, be persistent. And there's a really cool quote from Maya Angelou. It says, you may encounter defeat, but you must not be defeated, right? And that's where, if you have a goal and you don't quite make it, that's fine, right? You can't let yourself feel defeated. You have to keep trying.
Or that's not fine. You know what I mean? Like, if you also have a goal so solid in your mind that you won't go to bed that night until you get your 10,000 steps, don't be persistent in fulfilling that goal. And don't just say, oh, I'm going to be persistent and try again tomorrow. No, tonight, Dave's going to have to wait to go to bed because I'm literally jogging around the room because I'm persistent in the pursuit of my goal. Even if I wasn't quite as active as I should have been during the day and I'm not quite to that 10,000, if I am not at my step goal for the day, I will not let myself go to sleep. I'm relentless and persistent in the pursuit of that goal. And I think sometimes we kind of expect ourselves to fail, so we let ourselves down a little too easily. Whereas I could be like, oh, I only got 8,500 steps. That was a good day. That was more than it would have been if I hadn't measured. But no, my goal was 10,000. So I literally, I'm saying this because I do it a lot. I won't let myself go to bed until I have my 10,000 steps, even if it's really late and I'm literally jogging around my bedroom. So be persistent, be relentless in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire. You know, that quote, that relentless achieving for really what you want. Make your life happen. And I think that's where I love the persistence of do it today, take your little steps, and then start all over tomorrow with different steps or new steps. And then that's where you're gonna feel the fire. It might sound like, oh, well, that's exhausting. I'm always working on something else. But that's actually what we were created to do. So our soul feels great with progress and with process of becoming more. And anyway, that's where it's exciting because you're persistently holding on to making sure those goals happen. That's where my fears can go away. I can kick them to the curb because I'm doing it. That's where my belief grows because I'm doing it. And I can see I got my 10,000 steps today. I'm able to keep my promises to myself. And I think I don't have a whole lot of just natural raw talent in a lot of things in life, but my persistence, my not giving up, I'm gonna stick with it. Honestly, that's what led me to be a good piano player. That's what led me to learn how to bake bread because I was so bad at it at the beginning. That's what led me to whatever that's why I am here at this position in our company today. I am not the world's best consultant on a million levels, but I am persistent and I won't give up. And I'm here because of that. And you guys can have at least that quality too. And you know what? It domino affects all of the other things. It helps you do because again, if you've got that goal, you won't stop. If you've made your goals and you're persistent, then you'll be persistent in keeping those goals. And it will help you conquer your fears because you are not going to give in to them because you're persistent. And you are going to believe you're awesome and know it because you're going to have so many proofs of all of your amazingness because you're persisting and being relentless in your goals. And sorry, I just totally went off on that one. But
oh, no.
I believe strongly in that one, that is almost kind of the key to all of it. Just keep going, keep pushing yourself, and don't allow yourself the, oh, well, I tried. Give yourself a star. There is place for that, but that means you are crediting yourself for those steps towards your goal. So you don't say, I tried, you say, I accomplished this baby step. Even if it didn't quite get all the way up to my goal, you have to put it in a box and say, this is what I accomplished, because then that way you are celebrating your success instead of allowing yourself the failure. Does that make sense? Anyway.
Yeah. Now that's it for that document. Now you guys, we're going to give you some of this week's challenges. Before Becky does that, I want to let you know, those 5 things are after a decade of seeing consultants come in and consultants go. And we've recruited lots of people. You can see these annual mentor awards back here. so that document is, I hope that you'll kind of take that to heart and then do the challenges that Becky's about to tell you really thoroughly, I guess.
So running your business is an important part of sales. Otherwise, you can't even make rank. It's a part of recruiting. If you're not growing your team, you can't really tie into all of this, the benefit of our business. And then leading your team, that's another part, that's another leg that we will train on. But this last there's kind of 4 pillars to your Scentsy business. So we can train on sales. You can find that anywhere. We can train on recruiting. You can train on how to train your team. But today, this pillar that we're focusing on of self-development and personal mindset is one that's kind of hard to train on because it's different for everybody and you're in different places. So our challenges today help you identify where you are at and what you need to do to take the next step, to find that soul-filled fire that just makes you live your life with passion and purpose and makes you feel a lot more fulfilled. Regardless of where you are with your business, you will feel good pursuing your dreams. So that's why we are doing kind of this pillar of self-development this week is the challenge. So you still need to be focusing on the goal of 250 PRV or whatever your goal is and 1 recruit. And then this is the mindset component. Number 1, read the blog that we just posted, that Dave we just went through all those 5 things. So read that again. And identify which one you are feeling, which level is your biggest hang up, which one is your biggest obstacle and why. Write it down for yourself. Write it down and then write down the reasons why. Why are you struggling with fear? What is it that you're afraid of? What is it that would happen if you gave into those fears? How would you maybe overcome those fears? What's causing that fear? Where did it come from? Is it past failures? Is it the fear of somebody rejecting you? Is it because you feel unconditionally or conditionally loved and you feel like if you fail at this, then that'll just further prove your lack of self-worth? There are a lot of deep issues here, and that was just the failure one. There are a lot of things that are hard to find, hard to dig through, hard to feel, hard to admit, hard to find. It's kind of like peeling the layers of an onion sometimes. And you love onions, but some people don't love onions. But you can't say, well, this is what it is. Lots of times you have to peel back those layers yourself and really, really see what is holding you back. What is your biggest obstacle right now for you? So read it, identify which number you are struggling with the most and why. Write it down, journal it as much as you can, and do that soon. Like do that today if you can. The sooner the better, because Dave thought that write down why it hits home. Recognize what's holding you back and find the root of the problem. What's preventing you from having the mindset that you can do this? And then this is the part where we were like, okay, well, what can we do to help them overcome this? So then Dave had the great idea to have you write statements of belief. To conquer those beliefs and read those statements to yourself every day. So if it's that, you are afraid of failure because you failed at this and this and this, or you haven't ever followed through with this and this and this, write a statement of belief that you can do it, or find your own counter statement that will help you have that growth mindset of this might even be evidence. These might even be very true, or they might just be true in your mind. It's all right. They're both real to you. Write them down, figure it out, and then write that statement, the counter statement. Yes, but I can do it this time. Or yes, but so-and-so believes in me, so I'm just not going to listen to these people that aren't going to believe in me no matter what I do. And even when you get failure, the naysayers are still going to say, well, you just got lucky, or just, you know what I mean? Like if you have people that are negative in your life, proving to them, like failing isn't just going to further prove to them that you are a failure, just like being successful isn't going to prove to them that you are worthy. They're going to look for that in you anyway. So what are those statements that you can create to counter those negative beliefs, to help yourself recognize where you will be, where you could be if you believed, if this fear weren't validated anymore? Well,
and I was just going to say, sometimes it's just looking differently at the same event. So for example, years ago, Becky and I, a long time ago, 13, 14 years ago, Becky and I started a clothing business called Sattler Clothing. Very original.
Real creative.
And we did that for about 2 years. And by the time we kind of closed shop, we had about $5,000 or $6,000 of clothing in our garage. We still have some of that in our garage. But we could look at that and say, wow, we suck. We should never do that again.
We're not good business owners.
Yeah.
We're not good entrepreneurs because our business failed. You know, and we walked away and, you know, kind of ended up losing money from that.
Yeah. And, or we could kind of take a step back, try to get outside of ourselves a little bit.
And reframe the same event.
Exactly, yeah. And, you know, and one of the things I've taken away from it is that even though I've gone to business school, as has Becky, and even though we've got that education, and you might think, okay, we should have done better, I felt like that experience running and growing that business was actually more educational in some ways than my education. We learned a ton by doing it. And so getting a little bit outside of yourself and reframing or changing your view on things is more actually realistic than, sometimes people call that putting lipstick on the pig. Well, it's actually, you're not deceiving yourself. You're actually just getting a more holistic.
Business still failed, you know, we still decided to walk away. It's just rewriting the story.
Yeah.
Deciding what else to look at.
Yeah. So anyways, it might be a little bit of an exercise of doing that as you go through this. So.
Yeah, I like that. And then the last thing, so that's all of that. It's going to be hard. It's going to be heavy. Oh, and we want you to identify that. And I know it's going to be a little bit scary, but I think part of the process of, helping yourself believe it and helping really truly adopt those new beliefs is sharing it in the group. So, write your statements and write what's holding you back. Write that for yourself, and then, like I said, read those counter beliefs, what you are, what you believe you can do, and read those every single day. But I'd love it if you felt comfortable to share it in the group, because that's really where it truly can get out of you and turn into a true belief belief. So here's the second part of that. In order to reinforce that mindset of growth and positivity and motivation, I would love you to find and post one motivational quote or short video or something like that every day, or a Scentsy training that you saw on YouTube that you really liked, that you would like to share, something that motivates you. There are some great places that I like to find. So you could look up on YouTube, Jim Rohn, R-O-H-N. He's got lots of great, he's kind of like the old school guru of self-development and motivation. There's Scentsy trainings in the workstation, as well as lots of good consultant pages and groups on Facebook or YouTube trainings. Mel Robbins is another great one for short little sweet motivations. Brene Brown really helped me with a lot of self-development and kind of peeling back that onion and getting rid of a lot of my baggage and self-limiting beliefs. And that really was pivotal to my business. You'll read in here, I think we'll get to that part later, where Sarah Robbins says that when she was working on herself and on personal growth and development, that's when her business exploded more than when she was just trying to focus on building her team and on building her business, because it kind of unlocks the key to helping all of that come your way. So I want you to get in the habit of looking for sources that build you up and lift you up, those inspiring things. Find a good social media person that posts good inspirational things, or a page, or Mel Robbins, or, you know, whatever you like. Find your source and then post it for us inside the group every day, so that we can motivate each other. And then you'll get 12 great little shots of motivation every single day for this week as well. And really, like I said, that will really help keep you in the mindset of being able to conquer your fears and conquer those 5 obstacles that are in your way. So number 1 is working with those obstacles that Dave was talking about, the blog post, and identifying those and writing what you can do to rewriting those beliefs, and sharing those. And then 2, finding and sharing a motivational quote or video or training or something every day for all of us to enjoy. I know that when you feed your mind positivity, your mind will see positivity. That is a true thing in my life. And when I'm kind of in that negative cycle, everything becomes negative. Everything becomes hard. Everything becomes against me. And like I said, I was that way for a little while due to just extended family issues, and I just started to spiral inward. And the way that I rewound that to spiral outward is through doing all of this mindset, internal hard work, self-development stuff. So, and it's made me a better person on the other side. So even if it's heavy, even if it's a little bit of baggage, even if it's just that you don't really know that you can do this, it might not necessarily be all super, super heavy stuff. Or maybe you don't have support at home with your business, or maybe, you know, there's a million different things that are keeping you from your full potential. But this is one of the keys that will help you unlock it and be able to help you rise to your full potential. So, and we believe in you. There are no limiting beliefs on our part. We literally believe in every single one of you in this group. I'm thrilled at the caliber of participants we have and how great you guys are all doing and just your potential. I've had a couple people even this week say, well, you know, you want this more for her than she wants it, you know, in response to, you know, helping somebody build their Scentsy business. And it's true. I want all of you to succeed. I want all of you to have the time, the money, the opportunities in your life, the influence that you want to have, that you deserve to have, and that you really can have if you will make it work and believe in yourself. So if you need to borrow my belief or Dave's belief for a little while, come visit us. Let's hang out on FaceTime or something, because I truly believe in every single one of you and I want you to succeed, but you have to want it as badly as I want it for you. And then it'll happen. And that's where you'll find inside yourself, something will start to burn and it will grow bigger and bigger. And then you'll be able to overcome all of those obstacles. Just one last analogy, because we seem to like analogies. It's been raining here for the last week, almost every day. And we just got a new roof because our house isn't even very old. But anyway, long story short, when we were checking out the new roof and checking out everything, it rained, and I was like, this is still not coming off the roof like it should. Well, so Dave, Superman, climbed up the ladder and saw that we had a whole bunch of those maple seed pod helicopters stuck in our downspout. So the roof was doing its job, but the water was still spilling onto the wall of our house and into the window because we didn't clean out the gutters. And I think this kind of mindset work that we do continually, every year we have more stuff and more leaves and debris in our gutters. So we have to keep cleaning them out continually. So we can't stop the rain, nor would we want to. The rain is a good thing. And the rain is the challenges in your business, challenges in life, things that come up, even self-limiting beliefs. That it's going to rain. That's a fact of nature. Even in Arizona, we lived there for a while. It didn't rain often, but when it did, it still rained. We need rain. It gives water. So you need those challenges in your life. Sorry, just got a text, but so we can't stop the rain. We shouldn't stop the rain, but it can pour down our roof and run off our roof and get into the gutters and get down and away from our house where it needs to go, as long as we keep our gutters cleaned out and as long as we are allowing ourselves to process and reframe these negative things that happen to us in our life. And then we can look at it as things that made us stronger and helped build who we are today. So.
Yep, totally. Okay.
Okay, have a great week and good luck on the challenges, and we'll see you in the group. Okay, bye.